10 seconds remaining.
All right, welcome back everyone to the English coverage of the Kiev Major. We are here with game number 2 of a best of 3 between Digital Chaos, the former Onyx, and Team Liquid. This is going to be the round 3 mid in our Swiss bracket, so that means both of these teams went 1-1 with their best of 3s yesterday. I'm Android, being joined once again by Brax. What are you hoping to see this game?
I'm hoping to see a fantastic game between these two teams. These two teams look like they know each other pretty well. We've got the Meepo band from Team Liquid, no surprises there, and the Wisp bands from Team Digital Chaos. And we're starting it off with the Monkey King yet again.
Yep, DC. Definitely feel like they can get a lot of use out of that. Dubu had a pretty fantastic monkey game last time. Started off a little bit slow, but eventually just came online, got the Basher, got the Shadow Blade, a couple of well-placed Wukong's commands. Really turned those fights. So, DC, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Team Liquid, taking their time deciding on this first pick.
Reserve time.
Yep, I'm curious what they will pick to deal with Monkey King. Keeper of the Light was a pretty common hero that people use to kind of push Monkey King outside of his circle when he ults, so it cancels that ultimate.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, he's a very difficult hero to deal with, especially with his tree hopping mechanics. We saw earlier IGV, they used VGJ, they used the Night Stalker Aghanims to kind of find Monkey King and hunt him down in all these team fights. It seemed to work pretty well.
And is that Liquid style? You think they'd go for a Night Stalker here?
No, definitely not.
Okay. Yeah, they're going to go in for the Crystal Maiden, so again, just picking it up. It's a pretty common support. Liquid are running it a ton, picking it up for both GH God and Kuroki, so not sure who's going to be getting to play it this time, but the Doom pickup here, that's a guy we don't see much of in the scene these days.
Yep, Doom definitely not the most common hero, but Liquid were running it
10
yesterday on
seconds
Mind Control,
remaining.
playing the offlane Doombringer, just getting it really tanky, and
5
he's a hero that
seconds remaining.
can create a lot of pressure once he gets his levels into Scorched Earth. Very good at diving, very tanky, does a lot of damage, and out comes the Abaddon again. Doom actually is a fantastic Abaddon counter. Once you get the Aghanim Scepter on Doom, it cancels his ultimate, and Abaddon just can't do anything.
Yeah, we saw, you know, Bulba playing pretty well on the Abaddon because he could just go in, get that blade mail, he could sponge up a ton of damage, pop his ult, and kind of shield his team from that. But like you mentioned, when Doom actually gets that Ags, you can just take Abaddon right out of these fights. So something DC has to deal with. Obviously, they'll have a pretty big window before Doom is going to be able to farm up that Ags to get the most out of their ABBA, and we'll see what DC can do. Do they have to go for more of a fast-paced, high-octane strat this time, or can they play slow and steady?
Well, they definitely have options to do both right now. The Abaddon enables them to group up, take some towers, but he's also very, very strong in the late game. He still has options to itemize around the Doombringer if he does get extremely farmed in Doombringer. He doesn't necessarily want to rush the Aghanims right away. He still wants a lot of other smaller team items before he can really just decide to build that. And DC ban out the Naga Siren and the Terrorblade, two big late game cores that Team Liquid do like to pick up quite often.
Yep, DC are just saying no pushing. No one's going to be doing any sort of pushing going on, but Liquid, they'll find a way around that here. Probably going to be showing a little bit more what they're doing, a little more of their strategy. Still yet to pick up their mid,
10
their
seconds
core, their other
remaining.
offlaner, or their other support rather. So we'll see.
5 seconds
Again, other heroes still in the
remaining.
mix. I know GH likes to play himself a Sand King. Potentially could be good at gap closing, but they're going to go back in Earthshaker. It's going to be given a lot of love here. That's probably going to be GH's hero, and we will have Kuroki on the CM.
Radiant team pick.
Yep, picking up that Shaker again, just like last game. And DC respond with the Vengeful Spirit. Pretty good hero for grouping with Ivan. Out comes Spectre. Okay.
Yep, that was DC's last ban against Liquid last game, but this time they're not going to wait for last pick. They're going to go straight in and grab their Spectre now. So how's that going to set the pace of the game?
Well, DC are they have the option of
10
being very
seconds
heavily
remaining.
like a very push heavy team. If a Batten decides to go for an early
5
Vlads just like last game,
seconds
Vengeful
remaining.
Spirit, we've been seeing lots of Solar Crest, and yep, out comes Shadow Fiend. This is going to be a very, very
Radiant team
push heavy lineup from
double.
DC,
Yep.
and I don't think Team Liquid quite have the tools to deal with that just yet.
Liquid gonna be a little bit more slower paced again with the offlane Doom, with the safe lane Spectre. They just kind of want to take their time and farm up.
10
Earthshaker
seconds
needs his blink before he's
remaining.
gonna have a huge impact. So I feel like the first couple levels of this game, or the first 10, 15 minutes, are going to be DC trying to get active, trying to move, try to push out lanes, take towers, go for smoke ganks, and Liquid just want to apply the brake pedal and farm for as long as possible.
Yeah, I think what DC are going for, or even before they saw the Spectre, it kind of like plays into what they were already going to, this is like their default play style. They have this strong five-man team that's very capable of taking these early engagements, taking these towers, and Team Liquid picks Spectre, one of the better late game heroes for
10
sure, but
seconds
Spectre is a
remaining.
hero that cannot just AFK farm till Radiance. You have to be able to
5
fight, to be
seconds
able to get these haunt
remaining.
kills and get involved in these team fights because once the push comes from DC, it's not going to be
Reserve
very easy to
time.
stop at all. Team Liquid are going to either need to be able to take the engagement or split push, and they don't have the highest tower damage heroes right now. When the split push does come out, if that is their response to it, they're not going to be able to trade as effectively as DC, as they have massive amounts of physical damage. Abaddon gives attack speed to your entire team as well. Vengeful Spirit with the Aura, Shadow Fiend already very high physical damage. I actually have no idea what Team Liquid want to play here with Miracle. Maybe they'll go back for something like the Ember Spirit, but it's not very good into the Abaddon and Shadow Fiend. So this looks pretty worrisome, actually.
Yeah, there's
I
still the
think
option to go back in for the Invoker,
Team
but again, that has its limits. That has, a time frame where it needs to come online. And late game, it's a beast. And if Team Liquid can actually push this out to 40, 45 minutes, Spectre is going to be a big problem. Doom is going to be larger than life, but it's going to
10
take time to get there.
seconds
And DC, they're
remaining.
going to get active very early. Hopefully, Abed can just start out
5
strong with his Shadow Fiend
seconds
and carry his team like
remaining.
we've seen before. So, Vengeful Spirit, is that going to be our secondary support or the core here,
Reserve
you think?
time.
I imagine it's going to be core, but I could be wrong. They might decide that, hey, we can pick something else to help secure a bit of a late game because early game looks pretty good right now. But we'll have to see. Spectre, very, very good against Monkey King. He can find him in the trees and just go on him right away, try to kill him off really quickly. But yeah, Team Liquid, they're going to have to find some way to fight, way to take these team fights.
Yeah, I mean, do they have to sit? How can the Spectre get online faster? We've seen kind of people departing from that Radiance build going into the Vanguard Diffusal build to get Spectre up and mobile right at level 6 when she has the Haunt, but it's still really tricky to get her active, especially when DC are going to be jumping around. Monkey King can probably start things off and get some good initiations on her. Abaddon should be giving her a little bit of a problem there, just constantly chasing her down and popping shields, and wow, DC go in, so it will be that core
Radiant
Venge.
team pick.
Yep, core Venge with the support Witch Doctor, some more sustain to help their push.
They are
The
going to be
Witch Doctor
pushing
heal,
so quickly.
yeah, it's gonna come pretty quick. And that Witch Doctor heal, very, very good at dealing with all this outspam and the Spectre Radiance for when it does come
10
out.
seconds
I think
remaining.
Team Liquid, they aren't going to be able
5
to delay the
seconds
push by outspamming them.
remaining.
They're gonna need something to help take the fight because there's just so much sustain from Team DC right now.
Reserve time.
Does an Invoker work here, or is that a little too passive?
It still falls into the same category as we need a lot of time.
Yeah.
So it's probably not something that they'll want to go for, but you never know. Maybe they feel like they can get away from it. They actually did have an Invoker with the Doom and Spectre Tricore in their game yesterday. So it's a possibility.
What about something real nasty? Okay. I was gonna say Viper, but Tinker works as well. I mean, I guess that's a little bit of split push. So when DC are all wadded together chasing someone down, Tinker can eventually go off and do his own thing in another lane. Also, can be a pretty good fighter if he gets up that Aghanim Scepter. Getting that blind out onto all of DC's very right-click heavy heroes is going to be nasty. But I'm liking DC's draft just a little bit more. It seems more straightforward to execute.
Yeah, it's very clear what they want to do. Team Liquid, though, their team fight is not weak at all. Doombringer can get very tanky very quick in the game. Spectre's Haunt gives you so much information. It's one of the very few spells left in Dota that still give you vision. A lot of the time when they nerf the heroes, like when they nerf Mirana, Arrow gives less vision. When they nerf Puck, Orb gives less vision. All these spells start to lose their vision. Trolls, Whirling
10
Axes no longer
seconds
give vision.
remaining.
And Spectre is one of the heroes that still retains that vision.
5
And
seconds
it's so important to
remaining.
play these fights because it lets you cast your spells better, it lets you position better. It just lets you know where your key targets that you can actually go on and kill are. But Tinker is definitely going to have to put in quite a bit of work this game, but Miracle, very skilled player himself, so yeah, we'll just have to see. I think if I think no matter what, this game is going to be very hard for Team Liquid, but yeah, they're a very good team and they can definitely pull it off.
Yep, not going to be an easy one, not necessarily like, oh, DC just completely dropped the ball and drafted 5 nonsense heroes. This is a pretty cohesive draft coming out of both sides, but yeah, it's going to be a matter of can DC get that early momentum they need to start their push off? Can they get a couple of really nice early kills, early ganks? Demon smoked up, just going to run right into GH here, so yep, this is it. Again, game number 2 in a best of 3 between DC, the former Onyx, and Liquid here. This is going to be determining seeding. All teams want to be getting that gold seed, that top slot, as we move on to the main event. So, yeah, this could be a 2-0 for Team DC. Do you think Liquid can take one, or do you think this is just going to be a difference in skill?
I mean, it's still anyone's game. But we can see like the drafts are so different. They're kind of like opposites. You know, one team wants to play this extreme late game, and the other team wants to really group up and push. But their late game also isn't bad. Shadow Fiend, Venge Cores, and even the Abaddon, they're not horrible in the late game. They're actually very strong. But they just offer more power at different stages of the game, right? SF, lots of physical damage, can hit these buildings pretty early on, wave clear, and Team Liquid just need to they need to find a way to be able to take these fights for when DC come to their towers, because if they concede everything, that opens up Roshan for Team DC, and of course their lineup is extremely good at that too, with the high physical damage, minus armor, Abaddon attack speed. That's when it kind of gets out of hand for them.
Alright, so game starting off, just a 1-1 split with the runes, nothing too fancy. GH poking around, pops down some vision here, just gonna be keeping eyes on the shrine. Quick pause coming out. Hopefully DC aren't having any more lag issues or Liquid aren't taking their place, but everyone getting set up here. In terms of lanes, what are gonna be the ones to keep your eyes on? What's gonna be the most challenging lanes to execute?
I think that Team Liquid, they definitely want to secure their safe lane, but if DC do happen to rotate down Witch Doctor or Monkey King, it can get out of hand pretty quickly. So we'll just have to see how they manage that. I imagine Monkey King's going to sit in the safe lane for now. He's a nice tree. He's going to zone out Doom, make him jungle a bit, and then maybe level at like 3 or 4 minutes, he'll probably go down to the bottom lane. As we can see, Witch Doctor starting in the off lane with our Harry Potter Abaddon Bulba.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
the mid lane is actually very Tinker favored. Tinker versus Shadow Fiend. Especially nowadays, people don't really go for these early March levels because the jungle is a bit more split out, so they focus a bit more on laning.
yeah, definitely going to be difficult for Shadow Fiend to get in there and avoid harass and actually get his souls stacked up. So might be a bit of a slower start for Abed, but we've definitely seen him come back from crippling starts and turn into this godlike beast. So can't tap him out no matter what kind of laning start he gets. Down in this bottom lane, like you talked about, Witch Doctor just keeping his levels soaked up, Bulba sponging a little bit of damage, but with GH and Kuroki here splitting the XP with the Spectre, it's going to be a while till my man actually gets those levels up. Fissure clips onto both, but again, Witch Doctor and Abba aren't too concerned with that. Back towards the mid, Abed just going to be eating up a tango, getting himself back to health, and yeah, still struggling to get some souls for himself. Finally finds one.
Yeah, it's not an easy matchup for sure. But DC, they're doing pretty well in this offlane here. Liquid are spending a lot of time trying to zone out the Witch Doctor. If they can ever catch Witch Doctor, he will die. He's not tanky like his Abaddon friend. But Matumba Man is still farming pretty well in the lane. It's not total free farm like Mason has in the safe lane, but it's still pretty good. Spectre, you definitely expect this hero to get kind of shut down. He's pretty abusable in these early parts of the game.
Abed with a little taunt out as he makes up to his high ground. And yeah, talking a bit about the offlane, we do have Mind Control just going to be spending most of his time in this jungly area, maybe poking his head into lane. But Mason on the Venge, getting a lot of free farm. What's, for Liquid, what do they have to watch out for? What's Venge's threshold going to be where they might say, we have to gank this Venge. This Venge is getting out of control.
Well, it'll never be that. It'll always be we need to secure our Spectre some way, but in order to do that, they'll have to go up to Venge's lane probably. Venge is pretty in control of this lane. Like, she's going to get her early items and be really hard for Liquid to deal with. I think Liquid are just going to entirely focus on Spectre's lane, trying to give him the best possible lane setup he can get, but it's going to prove extremely difficult when DC get their levels up and they start to rotate him. But as I say that, Bulba might be in some trouble here. He gets frozen up.
Yep, he's getting low, trapped on one side of the fissure. Want to keep an eye on the Doom as well. He's getting low in the jungle, but Bulba, yeah, one more hit. It will be first blood going the way of GH. A Primal Spring comes down as Dubu actually abandons his chase onto the Doom. TP's down bottom, just trying to hold this, but just going to be soaking up a little bit of free experience as Bulba's now going to TP back in, but let's get Inspector some good XP for herself. Ticks over to her level 3, so things going all right in that bottom lane for Liquid.
Yep, nice kill there on the Abaddon. And that's definitely what they need to take control of their safe lane. They need to keep pushing Abaddon out, keep killing him, but now DC have rotated in and they got their tri-lane here to kind of mess with Spectre.
Yep, Monkey King gonna take this slow and steady. Has his level 3 just from soaking experience off of that Doom in the jungle. So keeping things annoying and pesty, and now mid lane there is gonna be a rotation forward. They got the Witch Doctor in the area, so maybe if Miracle pushes up real far, could fall victim to a cask, but for now, Abed content just to finally get some last hits. Has only 7 to his name compared to the Tinker's 15. Miracle definitely having a very fun time as Tinker.
Yep, Mind Control has kind of taken back control over this top lane. He's got the excellent Satyr creep there, and he can actually lane just fine now. 18 CS, doing very well.
Yep, there is going to be a smoke gank of these 2 supports coming in towards the top. We'll see if this is going to be fruitful here, as again, Doom, even at only level 4, is still pretty hard to kill. So Doom, we're going to be moving forward. They start things off with the Venge stun. They got the Wave of Terror as well, cutting through his armor, and now they just got to keep him in place. They don't have any more damage spells, but the right clicks are going to be enough. Meanwhile, yeah, that's all they need. Down bottom, Bulba potentially going to go down here again, is only level 3. Fissure traps him back. Crystal Maiden coming in from the back, looking for the Frostbite, but is going to have to retreat as he's taken too many tower shots, so it looks like Bulba might get off with a warning this time. Or not, as Crystal Maiden runs right back in. They go for the Nova, they get the Frostbite off, and now there will be a TP in from the Witch Doctor. They want to try to hold this. Fissure comes in, clips onto both, and Bulba's going to be able to chase back the heroes for now.
Yeah, they're really trying hard to keep this Abaddon in check down here. But nice TP in, saves him pretty much. And Abed, he's off to quite the rocky start. Tinker, not a fun matchup as you said earlier. And it just gets worse and worse as the levels get up on the Tinker, and he pretty much will want to head out into the jungle pretty soon. And once that happens, DC might lose some pressure in their offlane.
Yep.
Dubu's actually level 4 right now, very high for support.
Yeah, he's been hanging around. He really kept on top of the Doom when the Doom was farming the jungle, which is where he got a lot of his experience. Doom, about 5.5 now, getting pretty close to that level 6. Can Mind Control go for a solo kill once he picks that up, or is it not going to be powerful enough?
It's probably not going to be powerful. He might go down here though.
Yeah, Boundless Strike comes in, Jingu Mastery's up, and one more hit means Mason secures his first kill of the game. They're going to transition right into tower pressure, and we got a TP in coming from Kuroki, just holding everyone back with his Q, but it's going to be, again, good pressure coming out of DC's top lane. Mid lane looks real good for Liquid. The Tinker got what he needed, and Abed is still a little bit crippled. And bot lane, Bulba, he went down once, but there is still some good pressure onto the Spectre. She's not feeling free.
Yep, especially with that CM rotating up the top lane. They know Crystal Maiden showed up there. Pretty much free reign for them.
Coconuts bouncing around. I mean, what's going to be the go point here? Clearly DC have a lineup that want to get active and want to push early. What are they waiting for? Is it levels? Is it going to be first round items?
They pretty much want to take control of the safe lane, and then once that frees up, then that means Monkey King can freely rotate down to the bottom lane. Venge can also follow up, and they'll look to make some play in the Abaddon lane, so they can try to kill the Spectre, force them out, and break open the tower. But for now, they just need to keep scaling, getting their levels. Team Liquid are doing a good job at defending their offlane tower. The tower is still very, very healthy. Doom has good levels. He did go down there, but he was trying to pull the creeps off so he wouldn't get denied a bunch of experience. It's probably the worst thing. Mid lane, though. Miracle going for the solo kill.
Oh,
Goodbye.
jeez. Yeah, okay, Miracle just goes right in. Abed really having a tough time here. Miracle just going to keep bottling up as we are missing kills left and right. I apologize on that as Mind Control just lets loose here. Again, only level 5. Doesn't even need to spend Doom for that. Just going to be a quick pick on the Monkey King. So all of a sudden, Liquid picking up some momentum. Mid lane, they've got GH postured up, going in for that aggressive Fissure. Witch Doctor potentially could be trapped out here, although with Shadow Fiend TPing back in, they've got to get this kill quickly, and it looks like they will be able to do so. Max Point and Laser just chunks him right down.
We got 2 early kills on our Tinker already.
Yep. That's a really good start. I mean, a farm Tinker is nothing to sneeze at. He can come online pretty early, and Abed is just having a really tough time up here in this mid.
Yep,
Up.
luckily for him, out
First
comes the
Haunt gonna be going in. There is a Doom on the Venge. She can't turn things around with a stun. She's just running for her life. The Spectral Dagger on top of her, and she's just gonna get sit back and chained up. Finally, this Venge will go down. Demon gonna be burning as well, and well, Dubu jumps forward looking for something, but it's just gonna be him versus the world. They got the Jingu Mastery up, but yep, Miracle meanwhile continues his kill onto Abed. Abed is just chain dying here, and Miracle's off to a great start. Smoke gank up, and this is gonna be pretty big. Bulba gets some space down bottom to push, but there will be a TP back forward from Mind Control, who's going to be salving up and right back to pressuring this lane.
Yep, this Doombringer here was extremely strong at this stage of the game. 1100 HP. He's got a ton of health regen from that Scorched Earth, and he can just run at everything right now.
Yep, kind of beating
And
a
the
bat in
mid
his
lane.
own game.
Yeah, exactly. And in the mid lane, we have the Tinker pretty much dominating the mid lane right now. SF does not want to be in this lane, especially with the Roaming Shaker. Even Haunt can come out to come kill him. He just wants to push the wave out, farm up the jungle. But I don't know if DC want that to happen because they want to keep pressure on all these lanes so these supports can kind of move around. Venge needs some lane to like be strong so she can TP in to reinforce it and play off that.
Down bottom, we are going to have a Primal Spring jumping forward. Kuroki is super low and does get killed off by that Boundless Strike. It's just a lowly Crystal Maiden, though. They might be able to turn this into a Tier 1 tower, but it looks like there will be a TP up, because they want to defend this Earthshaker coming forward. The rest of Liquid trying to get in there and get aggressive, and they're just going to be able to zone him back as Tinker TP's in. Already with Boots of Travel. Man, this guy is farmed 9 minutes in, and he is ready to leave his lane and continue that pressure.
Yep, he's only got 1 level in his March right now, so he won't be farming extremely fast, but it's still so annoying for Tinker just to casually Boots of Travel into your lane, nuke you over and over.
Yeah. I mean, how do you control this Tinker right now? It seems like Miracle with that max level laser is the burst damage that Liquid so desperately need. You see there, 1 laser takes Abed down to half.
Yeah, pretty tough to deal with for now. But later on in the game, they'll have things like Bench Swamp. Monkey King gives vision over the trees, so hopefully they can use some of these tools to kind of set up on him. Abaddon also here that can kind of just charge through the march and not really worry about it, but Liquid are doing extremely well in all their lanes right now. There were a couple deaths early on, mainly on the Doom, but now Doom working towards his hand at Midas. He's got his early levels. Once Doom gets these levels, he gets so tanky so quickly, and I don't know. They just have what they need right now for the game.
Yeah, Mind Control just chasing back Bulba. I don't think there's any real depth coming out there. Here we go. There is going to be Haunt coming forward as, yeah, that is a very dead Shadow Fiend. Abed, he just can't stay alive. They are focusing so many resources to deal with him. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Bulba just completely forced back. Did have to spend his borrowed time as Mind Control is just all up in it. TP gets canceled by the Boundless Strike, and it looks like Mind Control has met his match here. Jingu Mastery comes out. Is he actually juking this right now? Dubu gets vision back and will jump down the Primal Spring. Does him in. Bulba finally able to find that kill, but that was a little bit close for comfort there.
Yep, definitely. Forces tons of TP rotations, not the worst thing in the world. He was running under the tower, forcing Bulba back. Does pay with his life for it, but in the end, Liquid, they're not too upset about that. You know, the rest of the heroes are farming. Even Crystal Maiden has her level 6 right now. Earthshaker has some alone time in the top lane. Got his Arcane Boots working towards his Blink Dagger. And we expect Vengeful Spirit to be one of these heroes that makes the rotation right away, but Venge pretty much confined to this top lane. Definitely not something he would prefer, but it's just the way the game's playing out right now.
Yep, definitely the Midas Major here as pretty much everyone has one queued up. Down bottom, Kuroki is going to be solo defending this tower, and Bulba's got to be a little bit tempted by that. Very, very squishy Crystal Maiden, but Bulba can't get too crazy without the help of his teammates. There will be a smoked up Monkey King, now with his level 6 available. Although, TP in from the Doom, making things very tricky to initiate on.
Yeah, they know Venge isn't pop.
Oh, there they go. They actually get the Frostbite onto Dubu. Crystal Maiden immediately hops in with that freezing field. It's going to be zoning back the rest of DC. Venge gets doomed. There will be the net creep up onto Monkey King, but a really nice death ward by Demon might just be enough to take out Mind Control. They get the kill. GH looking to man up on the Witch Doctor, but Witch Doctor turns that right back around. Meanwhile, Miracle snaps up a kill onto Dubu, so... Yep, Monkey King goes down, trading for 2. Beating that Tinker, though, is so dangerous now. He's really getting a streak going for himself. 4-0.
Yep, Tinker and Spectre at the top of the net worth charts, exactly where they want to be. Spectre is so fun, actually, at 1700 gold already at this stage of the game. Very dangerous.
Yep, look like she is going in for that Radiant's not going to play the more, get online fast build of the Vanguard Diffusal, but she thinks she can get the Radiance at a really viable time, and based on how the game is going for her so far, that's absolutely true.
Yep, should come out at a pretty good time this game. DC make a move to the bottom lane, but it's a bit spotted because of Team Liquid. They have a ward up top, and that spots that, hey, Venge isn't here, they're going to make a rotation down there. Hiroki places a ward out in front of the tower, sees the rotation, and they take a fight. They do lose too, but the goal that DC wants is they want that tower. They want to be able to take control of this map, open up their map, and then it gives them more places on the map to farm, but they're unable to do that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yep, Tinker, meanwhile, gets 3 points up in his March of Machines. He's having some fun pushing in this top lane solo. Abed, gonna be scouted out here. This poor guy, he's just trying to live so hard. He's got 3 deaths already. GH dropping the fissure, and it looks like Abed will be left to his own devices here. He has picked up max souls, so the next Necromastery finally doing some work for him, getting some more damage, and yeah, should be able to start his steady climb back into the game, still much lower on the net worth chart than you'd expect from him. Down bottom, TP in. Bulba could be in some trouble there. Kuroki just going to be moving forward. Look at the damage coming out. The burst is crazy right now in Liquid. Bulba's ult now evaporated down for a minute. Mason's going to be rotating in, looking to get aggressive here, just Midasing a creep. Going to be just biding his time as the March of the Machines start to roll forward.
Yep, that's so unfortunate. Comes down to rotate, looking for a play, and then the wave just gets marched out.
Double damage Doom in the mid lane. Demon may be looking to initiate with the Paralyzing Cask, but Mind Control, Spidey Senses tingling, just backs off to safety, and DC, they just can't find any openings here. Liquid are playing so safe, and they've laned this near perfectly.
Yep, Liquid's lane's going extremely well for them now. And DC, they should feel really pressured. They need to make the moves happen. They need to force these towers down, but every time it happens, Tinker is just there to march it out.
So, what does this look like if the game pace continues just like this? It seems like Liquid, they got the lanes that they needed. DC having a couple of failed ganks. They've got some kills to their name, but Tinker's still getting out of control. Spectre's farming incredibly quickly. How did DC turn this around?
Well, DC need to try to do what they're doing now. They're grouped up, looking for these kills under the tower. Kuroki's probably going to fall here.
Oh,
And now
no
this tower...
expense.
Yeah, this tower's been completely surrounded, and this is the kind of tower Tinker can't defend. Once it's been surrounded like that, it's way too dangerous for him to TP in to try to march it out. And this is how DC will start their game going. But of course, Spectre is so close to that relic already. 3,000 gold at 16 minutes in the game, and they're just going to trade towers.
Yep, tier 1 for tier 1. Still some really good net worth going the way of Liquid. You got top 2 on the chart here. Usually Spectre takes a little bit more time to top the chart than this. She's already 6,500 net worth at 16 minutes. Like you mentioned, Relic Gold's getting very, very close, and we're probably looking at like a 20-22 minute Radiance if she keeps up this pace.
Yep, sounds about right. And as it looks right now, there's just... DC will not have the items or the farm, or like the levels at all to deal with this Radiance Haunt. Witch Doctor pretty much just sitting on his boots, Raindrops, TP, Monkey King, same story, trying to build up to that Midas. Even Venge isn't that tanky yet. Shadow Fiend, Haunt is going to do so much damage. Pretty much only the Abaddon is really safe from it, but I don't know. This looks pretty grim at the pace it's going right now.
Yep. DC could definitely still blast this open with a couple of nice team fights, a couple of nice rotations. If they kill off the Tinker once or twice, if Spectre has a couple failed ganks, if they can burn some ultimates. DC are definitely still in this. I don't want to count them out just yet at 17 minutes, but it's a much trickier game to execute now that their lanes went a little poorly.
Yep, they're definitely not out, but the clock is ticking.
Yeah, what's going to be the cutoff point? What's the point where it's going to be like, all right, DC just can't get anything. Liquid can just run them over.
If they lose the team fight when Radiance Haunt comes out, I think this game is done.
No, so that point's coming up pretty quickly there. Spectre already with Relic Gold now, just Needs about 1,000 to finish off that Radiance, and it's going to get pretty nasty. Matumba Man got a lot of freedom here. 3-0-2 on the Spectre. Artie with an Urn. Got the phase boost, the poor man's shield, and yeah, Radiance not too far off as Miracle just goes in behind the tower. They will end up trading as, wow, that was an optimistic TP from the Venge. Matumba Man finishes her off with 1 hit. So.
Yep, nice haunt there. Pretty much lets him get the 2-for-1 trade.
Yep, I mean, getting down the Tinker is super important, but trading for Mason's Venge is not exactly what you want to do either. Vengeful Spirit,
That's right.
at least.
They killed the decoy. The real carries here.
Regen Rune denied by Demon, making sure no one's getting healthy. Now Bulba just charging through the forest, gonna get lots of pings from his teammate. They go in, we'll be able to find this ward. It's gonna be some nice vision taken out, but is it gonna cost Bulba his life here? He's gonna get blasted low. They're holding on to that Doom. Bulba's just sitting back, and it looks like they'll let him off with a warning. DC continue to get aggressive and continue to try to push this, but all of Liquid are waiting at this mid tower.
Yep, they did not want to commit there into the Witch Doctor cask and all the monkey nonsense that comes out afterwards.
Yep. Monkey King still dreaming of that Midas, has the gloves in his backpack, and still about 1,000 gold off the recipe, so gonna be a bit delayed in terms of overall items. We've already got 1 Midas on the Doom. We've got Relic, now Inspector's Courier, so flying that in. So things are about to get a little bit nastier here for Liquid. That Radiance is looming very close.
Yep, Doom with his plus 80 Devour bonus gold talent and Hand of Midas farms extremely fast now too, even without hitting creeps. If he would just devour it off cooldown and Midas, he would still keep up and farm with pretty much all these heroes. This is pretty scary. Radiance is pretty much complete now. It's coming out on the courier. Haunts up in 20 seconds. Witch Doctor, he's saying his prayers. He's about to fall over when that thing comes out.
Yeah, just 1 Radiance Haunt can totally demolish Demon. Vengeful Spirit's going to have a tough time dealing with it as well. I mean, she's got the Dragon Lance up, so does Abed, but the items are just feeling a little bit lackluster right now. Shadow Fiend still not even, I mean, just barely breaking that halfway point in the net worth chart.
Blink Dagger on Shaker now too.
Yeah, you got Blink on Doom, Blink on Shaker. This is going to be a very big fight from Liquid when they're ready to hit that trigger. Smoke up, getting ready. Spectre now has the Radiance, has the Haunt, and they're ready to take a fight here, if nothing else. Just soak in a tower that's falling on its own. So moving in, Tinker with a Blink as well. Wow, this team is very mobile.
Yep. And there's not a whole lot of catch when Tinker's in the trees beside Monkey King. But Monkey King, sure, he'll be sitting on the sidelines waiting for Tinker the entire time. But if that Haunt comes out again when they go on Tinker, could be very, very dangerous.
Oh, Abed. He's going out for the rune, but as soon as he retreats, he's going to walk right into these heroes. There's going to be the first Radiance Haunt going in. They top it off with a Blink Echo Slam. Yeah, this is exactly what Liquid wanted. Bulba now trapped under his own shrine. Dubu running back as well. Bulba has to pop his ult just because of the Urn. There will be a Wukong's command trying to zone everyone back. Spectre taking some damage. Dubu just kind of skirting around the edge of the circle, but will be killed off regardless. It's going to be an 0 for 3 as they're going to keep chasing down Bulba. A heat-seeking missile not quite going to do the job, but a blink in from Mind Control with that Infernal Blade will be able to get it done. Mind Control TP's out. Everyone going to be safe on the side of Liquid as there are 4 casualties on DC. It's looking like DC are just losing a lot of steam as this game moves into the mid-game.
Yep, that was 4 kills when the Haunt came out. Nobody on Liquid died at all. I guess DC do have Roshan potential. You know, perhaps they could smoke up and just run at Roshan, because DC or Team Liquid don't have any cooldowns right now. They used all their ultimates to take that team fight. That's perhaps the only opening I see for them right now, but it doesn't look like they're going to take it. I don't know. This is tough. This is what you're thinking about the next game.
Yeah, again, DC have that 1 game advantage, so it's not all on the line here. They still get 1 game to redeem themselves if they can't bring this one back, but well, they're not tapping out till the bitter end. But looking at that net worth, it is just spiking. And this is on the back of a Spectre and a Tinker that are getting absurdly farmed and show no signs of slowing down.
Doom is also building into that Crimson Guard, just trying to tank up as much as possible, play that frontline role.
Tinker now has the Aghanim Scepter queued up, so going to make that laser even more lethal in these team fights. It just seems like DC, they had a really clear game plan when they picked this draft. They wanted to get mobile, they wanted to have successful lanes and early rotations, and that just didn't happen.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. Liquid had a lot of control over their safe lane. They were able to kill off the Abaddon. Mid lane was extremely rough for Abed, and they couldn't really help him too much. He kind of just had to do his own thing. And then Doom, once he got levels, he was actually very scary in the offlane. Doom and Crystal Maiden able to pretty much kill anyone in that lane.
Yeah, it feels like Mind Control kind of tried to play on this Doom the same way an Abaddon would, and it's being more successful than the Abaddon right now. Abba has his own Radiance queued up, but wow, they are going all in for this. Spectre's going to be getting ready to go. Monkey King just jumping away. There's a Doom spent out on Mason's Vengeful Spirit. This core Venge just feels like a support. Feels so flimsy right now. There will be a TP out. Dubu gets back to safety. They aren't able to go and get vision for that Frostbite, but still, Liquid now get free pressure into this lane. Probably going to be able to turn it into the full tier 2 tower with Matumba Man just sitting back, farming casually, and already has that Manta queued up as his next item.
Yup, he's accelerating through his items extremely quickly right now. Tinker may get caught here if Monkey King can jump on a tree, but he definitely does not want to tank the march. Not a lot of HP on him. And they just can't do a whole lot, I guess. Abaddon is getting close to his Radiance at least. Almost at the Relic for now.
Yeah, I mean, how much can this Abaddon Radiance change this up? If he's sitting with his teammates, if he's soaking up damage, if he's proccing missed chances, is that enough to get DC back in this?
Alone it's not, but it's definitely something that's gonna go in their favor. I'm looking for things that can potentially help them get to that level where they can take fights, and they're very, very far away from that for now, but Radiance is definitely a step in the right direction. Monkey King almost has his Midas, he's about halfway there.
He's been
about
working on that
halfway
thing
there
for
like,
so long.
yeah, like 10 minutes, he's at like the same gold.
I mean, is this just not a great time for Monkey King to try to get that Midas? Should he have just bailed out a couple minutes ago and gone for the phase boots, gone for that core transition a little earlier?
No, I think he needs so many items that Midas is
Oh,
fine.
here we go. Wukong's command coming in. They're doing a fair amount to the Doom. He's going to be popping off that new Crimson Guard. Doesn't make it outside the circle. GH going to be blinking away as Miracle just ready to keep the spam up, popping out the heat-seeking missiles. And yeah, this is getting pretty tricky to deal with. Doom goes down. DC, they're all still up, and they will be able to do a fair number onto this tower. Will go down. Jump
Nice
back
play
in from Dubu.
DC there.
A little bit crazy there, but yeah. DC, they go in, they finally show some signs of life. We haven't seen a whole lot out of Abed here. Again, had a really difficult lane, went 0-4, and now a Haunt is just going to bring him down again. Okay, that's a godlike streak for our Spectre. That Radiance Haunt just came out and started decimating Team DC. Looks like Venge is going to be going down as well, finished off by the newly completed Dagon on Miracle.
Yep, DC, that was a nice maneuver from them. They forced the bottom tower. Liquid wanted to defend even without their ultimates, hoping they can get away with it, but Dubu, hiding in the trees there, was able to give vision of it, and they just poured it into a Wukong's command, and they got some kills there. But of course, Spectre, Haunt came off cooldown, he pressed R, everyone died.
Yep, Bulba, meanwhile, just gets exploded top lane. That was just something Tinker can repeat over and over and over again. Just the Dagon spam. It's only going to get worse as the Dagon gets upgraded. And yeah, the burst is just so ridiculous here. What's DC's plan against it? It seems like they're not quite tanky enough to live through any of these pushes.
Yeah, they just don't have the farm or the items. At this stage of the game, they're kind of just scrapping together whatever kinds of farm they can get, but Abaddon, he's not going to be getting tanky for a really long time. Witch Doctor, same thing. Monkey King, same thing. He just got his Midas. All these heroes are just going to kind of melt to the Dagon right now. They need to hope that they can get another fight like they did at that tier 2 tower where Monkey King was able to scout these heroes coming in. Perhaps he can set up on a tanker like that and they can set up some sort of gank, but they need to make sure they bring the numbers or else Spectre's just going to Haunt and then kill him again. DC are going into Roshan, but Haunt is up in 25 seconds. And they can kill Roshan extremely quick with the Wave of Terror. There is no medallion up yet, but they have lots of negative armor. And Liquid, They might know this is happening. They do.
Yeah, it seems like they're sniffing it out. GH goes in. Fissure hits onto 2. There's going to be heat-seeking missiles blasting around. They do end up losing their Earthshaker. Wukong's command comes forward. They trap Matumba Man in the circle, but he just walks right out. Monkey King getting low, killed off. It is looking pretty good for Liquid right now. Doom going to be sitting forward. Gets the Doom off onto Abed, who just can't do anything. This poor guy is just being victimized here. Bulba pops his ult. He'll heal back up near full health, but then after that's over, he's a dead man. All of DC are dead in a 5-man wipe, trading only for the Earthshaker. Looks like Roche is theirs for the taking, but yeah, Liquid are quite ahead. About 20,000 net worth lead at the 27-minute mark.
Yep, and these are heroes you definitely do not want to play with or play against when they're ahead. Spectre, Tanker, late game monsters, even the Doombringer.
Yeah, here we go.
And good games called.
Yeah, it seems like DC just kind of, you know, they don't want to waste any more mental effort on this game, realizing it's just 99.9% of a lost cause. So going to be looking towards game number 3. It's all coming down to it. These teams in the Kiev Major group stages trying to seed themselves nicely for the main event. So game 2 in the books. It was a quick one. It was just kind of DC trying a strat, didn't work, and Liquid, well, they executed exactly how they needed to.
Yep, well played both teams, and we're going on to game 3.
Yep, you can just look at that miracle 10-1-5, 11-0-8. So these two cores just got out of control. We could see some Spectre and Tinker bans coming up next, but you'll have to sit back and wait for game number 3 of Team Liquid versus DC here on the Kiev Major English coverage. I'm Android, that's Brax, so sit tight. More Dota coming at you in just a few minutes.